Hi, and welcome to this July energy update. I do have my dog Max laying next to me, and I apologize if there's any background snoring or other disturbances. Um, I've been given a couple of themes to talk about. I'm not sure that they're specifically for July or just what I'm meant to talk about in this July update. And I feel that what I'm being asked to share is more of this collective theme that we're going to witness as light workers. That's not to say we won't find ourselves perhaps experiencing some of these themes or needing to go within and see if some of these themes apply when we look deeper within. We don't always consciously identify with things that come up. Sometimes we have to go on a bit of an inner search to find out that they are hiding within us at times. So I'll just try and get straight into it. I feel that this is a collective theme of increasing chaos that we're going to see. I'll talk a bit more specifically about how I'm being shown this may apply. And again, anything that I'm sharing is my experience, my interpretation of what I'm being shown. And it's not to say it is what is. So please just feel into it and just take whatever feels like it resonates with you at any time I'm sharing anything. So I'm being shown, the first theme is protectiveness. And this is an ancient trait that many of us have. And I'm sure parents, if those of you that are listening, those that are parents are going to be able to identify with this protective theme. There's a difference between, there's a fine line when you're a parent between knowing when to step in and protect your child from harm, whether it be physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual, and when to allow them to experience for themselves, and not be overprotective and trying to wrap them up so that they never get hurt on any level, because that only limits their growth. It doesn't actually serve them. And we do it out of the best intentions when we're overprotective a lot of the time, but there is this tendency to cross that line and inhibit another's growth by trying to protect them from pain and suffering on any level, especially those we love. So we always have to question when we're stepping in and protecting someone, are we doing it because it's genuinely needed, or are we perhaps preventing them an opportunity to learn and grow and experience? It's also a question, though, of we can get protective in the sense of, I've worked really hard for this, I need to protect what's mine in terms of ownership and possession and protecting what we perceive as ours. True protectiveness is done from a completely selfless nature. It's like when there's a natural disaster or something happens, somebody's life is at risk or they're in serious harm, another person steps in to protect without thinking of their own needs or gain in that moment. It's purely a selfless act of protectiveness, if that makes sense. Then there's also the layer of our own protective mechanism, which is our ego and our personality. And I'm pretty sure this came up quite a while ago and it's coming up again now, that our ego, that thing that identifies me as opposed to you on that level, is our biggest protector. And the problem is it tries to protect us from anything that it perceives will cause us harm, which means it's often holding us subconsciously, unconsciously, even consciously into this holding pattern where we never really grow and expand because we're so afraid of what the unknown will bring, of getting rejected, getting hurt, looking stupid, all of these things. So our ego steps in and says, no, I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to suffer in any way. I want you to be happy. I want you to be happy. All that is all I want is for you to be happy and feel good. And so it will protect us with whatever it can. So it's learning to recognize when we are inhibiting our own growth and going into protective mode and shrinking ourselves. So I hope that makes sense. So I think we're going to see, with this chaos that's increasing, a lot of people trying to protect those they love, protect what's theirs, or what they perceive is rightfully theirs and needs to be protected. So that's going to create even more separation in many aspects. I need to keep you away from this. I need to keep this away from you. That kind of mentality. Sorry, just let me have a quick sip of water. And now this is the... Sorry, I've had a bit of a respiratory thing, as some of you may know. And I'm fine. It just is still in the clearing out phase, I guess. The other thing that came up that I'm a bit uncomfortable talking about, not the theme itself, but talking about it like this, is for many people, part of what's going to be causing, influencing this sense of chaos, people acting in, ways that you just think, what is going on? Is the world going crazy? Even my fiance said to me this morning, what is going on in the world? Like, he sort of glanced at social media and already seen, 4 murders, in a very short space of time, and just sort of said, what's going on in the world? Is the world going mad? And it was like this light bulb, and I went, oh, this is how this all ties in. We're going to see this. We've talked about witnessing this collapse of the old for a long time, and we've seen it in progress, and we're seeing it increasing. I feel like this is a message that it's really amping up now. Inorganic interference is the way that I'm being shown to express this theme, which basically means people being influenced in their energy field and their bodies by things that are inorganic to them and should not be there. This is within the physical body, but it's also within the subtle bodies, mainly the mental level and the astral kind of interface level, where there's a lot of manipulation happening. And this may be in terms of frequency use. We know frequencies can be used for healing, but we also know that they can be used to create disruption, to create such dissonance that it drives people crazy. And these can all be done silently as well. There are obviously, going further, and I don't want to get too much into that in this video, other things that can be placed, as we know, in these subtle fields, which highly influence the mind, the emotions. I'm getting big trembles with this. A lot of different things. And of course, people are open to people that are not energetically aware and do not maintain their energy, allow it to become weakened by their lifestyle, their beliefs, things like that, are very susceptible to being manipulated by non-physical beings that have a different agenda to us. So there is a lot of interference happening, and it's designed to be that way. And I feel that what's been happening is the Lightworkers have been targeted immensely, and an effort to try and maybe not even prevent this. I feel like they know it's not preventable anymore, but to try and either hold on to the old structures and old for as long as possible, but also a bit like teenagers that, are mucking up and are being kicked out, and they're being really rebellious as they're getting kicked out, and they're knocking things over, throwing things, creating a real mess, trying to just make as much disruption as possible, but they're on their way out. So it feels like a combination of all of these things. People are going to also be highly influenced, if they're not aware, again, by other people's energies and other people's thoughts. And I feel like a lot of people that are in mental institutions and things like that, and talk about hearing voices and stuff like that. I'm not saying they're not mentally ill, but I'm also saying I do believe there's a strong component of being manipulated with these other energies. And so I feel like that's why we're going to start seeing just crazy, even more crazy stuff happening, insane road rage, other rage incidences, you know, even supermarket rage. This me against the world mentality, or us against the world mentality in a lot of people. People just really acting out of character. And the message is, this is not all down to them. In some cases, there is this inorganic interference happening at these different levels that can be affecting how people are expressing themselves going forward. And then this brings me to the final bit of the message, which is there's going to be all of this confusion increasing in a lot of the masses, is the way, until people are able to perceive themselves objectively and without judgment, because the world narrative is not going to change for them until something internal is seen and shifted. So I think we're going to witness a lot of people struggling until they find a way to step out of that judgment and labeling and way of viewing themselves and the world, and be able to just really see themselves more clearly without limiting themselves with judgment or opinions of what they see there. They're going to have to really be able to find a way to step into that observer role, where they can see the bigger picture from a more detached perspective. And then everything's going to start making sense to them. Then I'm shown, then that light bulb goes off and all will be seen clearly. The first step, though, is they can't see clearly the bigger picture until they can clearly see the self, or begin to see the self more clearly, at least. And again, that lack of ability to see this bigger picture and to see themselves through a different lens will be what's feeding this instinct to protect the self, protect those that they love. So I hope that makes sense, and I've explained it sort of succinctly. I guess the big thing is to just, for us, is to step into that space where we are understanding of what's unfolding and potentially some of the reasons why. I mean, there's always going to be a multitude of reasons, but these are some of the key themes that I've been shown will be influencing. And to just hold that space of this calm presence of neutrality, where, as comforting it is for some people when we buy into that fear or that match their energy, it can be comforting in the moment, but really it's not serving anybody. We're better to show up with this grounded, calm, loving yet detached. This is your journey. It's not my responsibility to carry it for you, but I can see that you're struggling, and I can sit here and hold space for you and try and alleviate that burden, at least for this moment, and just really disengage from that outer chaos as much as possible. It's ironic because I've been working hard to come up with, meaningful but creative content on social media, and I'm really getting this message to just pull my energy right back in, even scale back the sessions that I'm offering each month for the remainder of this year at least. Still offer them, but just scale back the number that I'm offering, and really just focus inward on what really matters, like my little one before she goes to school next year, all of that sort of stuff. So I hope some of this resonates with you, and it'll be interesting to see what unfolds, but I'm looking forward to connecting with you again soon. And a big thank you to those of you that connected for the June Solstice group healing. it's always an honor and a privilege to share that space and connect with the beautiful light that you all bring. So thank you again for joining me. And I look forward to connecting with you all again soon. Biggest heart hugs. Bye.